When it comes to the Phoenix Force, Scarlett Witch and Franklin Richards, which one is the most powerful? Well, that seems to be a question that several of you guys have been begging for me to answer. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, anything and everything that I say, we're gonna have the scans for. We're gonna have the verbatim statements. And let me go ahead and predict the future. It's gonna be some silly individuals who's gonna go, even though we're gonna show the proof. So let's get to work. First things first, let's start with Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards is basically a god. Here's the thing in the Marvel Universe. When you are a god, you have limits. And not every god is the same. You have gods who are not all knowing, who are not all powerful. Because there's levels to this shit. For instance, can Franklin Richards create an entire universe? Of course, he's been doing it since he was a child. But here's the problem. Franklin Richards can't really make that reality anchored to our reality, or at least to the 616. Now, I know somebody's going to say, because that's not true. You guys remember all the universes that Franklin Richards ever created that was actually materialized. He was never able to do it by himself. He needed Molecule Man. Now, why is this? Because again, as they state themselves, oh my God, powerhouse, you can create a universe? Molecule Man says he can conceive one, but he requires my molecules to bind it and anchor it to reality. Now, even though I just showed the scan, somebody is still going to say, But Franklin Richards can conceive universes within his hand. But he cannot materialize them and make them real or even anchor them to this reality without help. Which is why when the Griever destroyed his realities, there was nothing he could do about it. Now, I know somebody's going to go, that's not true. But when the Griever took out Molecule Man, she started destroying all of Franklin Richards' universes. And everyone and everything that he created was not only destroyed, there was nothing he could do about it. And right here, we see Franklin Richards verbatim state that not only was his creations destroyed, but there was nothing he could do about it because he was powerless against someone like the Griever. Now, we have Dragon Man, who gives his opinion, not a fact. He tells Franklin that Franklin was not powerless. In reality, their scanners tell them that he's more powerful than Thor, he's more powerful than the Hulk and the Silver Surfer. Now, we can take this opinion as truth, or we can let the comics show us that this was a load of bullshit. Because when Franklin Richards fights the Griever, what does he do? He makes himself more powerful than Thor, more powerful than the Hulk, and more powerful than the Silver Surfer. At least that is what he believes. And what happened? The Griever beats his little ass with a finger flip. She didn't even use any of her powers and abilities. She just flipped her finger and he was gone. And he got his little ass beat. Now, how do we know that he really wasn't more powerful than the Silver Surfer, etc.? Well, because we saw the Surfer actually fight the Griever. And she actually had to use her powers and abilities to stand toe-to-toe with him. Now, she did beat him, but she couldn't beat him down with just a finger. She had to use her powers to force him into submission. Now, I know you guys are probably going to say, well, that doesn't mean that Franklin can't beat the Griever. That's not what that means. Well, it does. He can't beat her. Now, why is that? Well, as it was stated, it's because she is an embodiment. And when it comes to concepts, embodiments, or abstracts that manifest themselves in a physical form, Franklin cannot beat them because he's not in the hierarchy where he can't even affect them. Now, what do I mean by that? You have things like the powers that be, or characters like the natural order of things, right? Those are concepts that can take physical forms, full embodiments. And those embodiments have heralds and avatars who do their bidding or work or maneuver in the world in a way that they can't, which if you want to learn more, you should read Gods. But when it comes to these hierarchies and pantheons, different aspects and abstracts, just full-on embodiments, there is a pecking order. For instance, the bottom row, you have gods, celestials, and characters like Galactus. Franklin Richards is in between that epsilon of power. But when you go a little bit above to the concepts and the embodiments, he's not at that level, nor does he have the power to beat them. Now, when it comes to the Scarlet Witch and the Phoenix Force, specifically Jean Grey Phoenix, they are not only a part of those pantheons, but they're outside of it completely. Well, at least Scarlet Witch is. What do I mean? Let's explain. Let's start with Phoenix. When it comes to Jean Grey Phoenix, she is on the same hierarchy as Eternity. And that's because the Phoenix Force itself is more than some cosmic force. Again, Franklin Richards is a cosmic force. She is above that. And that's because unlike Franklin Richards, the Phoenix and Jean Grey, they are not God. They are not just some cosmic force. They are existence itself. And because of that, not only is she not a god, she has no limits, because that is what gods have. Gods have limits. She does not. Let's say Franklin creates a reality or a universe. She can destroy it. She can destroy it. She can wipe it away like it's nothing. Besides her being able to travel back and forth through time with the greatest of ease, just like Franklin can, she can take every aspect of herself or anyone and everyone who has the Phoenix Force, who has ever had the Phoenix Force, and she can summon an infinite army of her. And that is because when it comes to the Phoenix Force, there is a piece of her in every star, in every planet, and in every being. Plus, Franklin Richards doesn't have a way to actually do a holy double tap on her and kill her off completely, because every time he takes her out, which he won't, but let's just say he does, she's going to come back stronger every time. Plus, when it comes to the White Hot Room, not even the Beyonder would fuck with her, in which he states that himself, because unlike Franklin Richards, he actually is omnipotent, and even he wouldn't fuck with just the Phoenix Force in the White Hot Room, in which the Phoenix Force isn't even a complete version of itself, because it's not connected to Jean Grey like it is now, where it is finally complete. And again, even he wouldn't fuck with her. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, but Franklin Richards can destroy Celestials. What do you mean he can't kill the Phoenix, etc.? Franklin Richards can't do that by himself. You see, first things first, in Annihilation, you have to understand, when it comes to cosmic beings or beings with the power cosmic, they're all the same, and it all depends on knowledge and how they use those powers. So yeah, when Franklin was a kid, he was able to stand up to Celestials, but for the most part, he never really could do anything to them. He was nothing more than an ant for them to squash, which is why anytime they got in trouble with Celestials, he always needed the help of his older self plus Galactus, because that is always the only way he's ever able to actually stand up to them. Like, for instance, when Franklin Richards fought the Celestials, when he resurrected Galactus, he was amped. And he was amped by power that he gave his younger self, which again, he gave that power to his younger self for safekeeping, so that when he needed it, he could use it so he could fight the Celestials. The only problem was he wasn't strong enough. And that's why he had to resurrect Galactus, so he could fight the Celestials, because he is the Celestial killer. Now, there was a time when Galactus could have destroyed the Phoenix Force completely. The only problem is that was before she connected with Jean Grey and became whole. So absorbing her and metabolizing her just isn't going to work anymore. Now, when it comes to Scarlet Witch, she's actually above Jean Grey Phoenix and Franklin Richards. Now, why is that? Well, first things first, Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being. She's outside of the rules and regulations of Marvel, so she doesn't have to follow any of the hierarchies. And because of what she is, she has full rights to not only challenge any of them, ultimately she can destroy them. Because she can fight embodiments and destroy them, control them, or even warp and change them. Because even before she got all of her upgrades, she was able to change the fundamental laws of the Marvel Universe. She once beat the In-Betweener because a part of him is made of chaos. As she states, she controls chaos. But just like Jean Grey, the Scarlet Witch is also not a god. Because again, she's much more than that. And it's because of that, she can destroy or control embodiment. She can even summon them and hold them in place. And this is because she's not a servant to magic or any of the other pantheons. She is a servant to possibility, which is the queen of nevers. And not only is she a conduit of power, which allows her to take powers from characters like Cthulhu, or even connect to the Nexus, or just any source that she chooses, she can also kill belief itself, while also being immune from being erased. Even if you destroy her physical, her spiritual self will still be there and she can come back. Also being able to survive any wound that Franklin would even try to put on her. The Scarlet Witch is also stated to have no limits whatsoever. And not only can she shatter creation itself, but she can remake it into whatever she wants, while also writing the rules as she see fits, in which not only do we have the verbatim statement of that, but the reason as to why she doesn't is because she can pretty much do anything she wants. She is just responsible enough to understand that maybe she shouldn't. So no, Franklin Richards is not above Jean Grey or Scarlet Witch. Because of placement, hierarchy, and the feats that she's accomplished, she's above both of them. But I wish I can give you guys more. It's 10 minutes. You guys have a great day.